Hey guys, Mike here. So another big day in the market with another new all-time high on the Qs and the S&P, and boy, pretty much everything's going up, whether it's precious metals, water, the Qs, the Mag 8s, I mean, you name it, high beta, space stocks, quantum computing stocks. If there was an ETF that held dirt, I think it'd be up 50% year to date. You know what I'm saying? So, and something did happen, speaking of that. Today, an ETF launched, and we're going to talk about it. And so for those of you who, love to have exposure to this kind of stuff, we'll see if this one's going to call the top once again or not. And I'll explain to you the difference, though, in what's happening now and what happened then in 2020 and 2021 when this ETF, wink, wink, launched, okay? And then we'll get into some other stocks to watch out for, the ones that have not broken back out yet. Which I think you should watch out for. But I'm going to start off with this, and this is the weekly flows. And I got to say, it's the most even weekly flows I've ever seen. I mean, over the last week, they sold out of the large caps, the small caps, and then everything else was distributed pretty much evenly, going through the bonds, going through mid caps, even up to the consumer cyclical sectors, non-cyclical sectors. So definitely the most balanced I've seen it. But this is the ETF that launched. The meme ETF is back. Is it late to the party once again? If you don't know about this one, this is what it holds currently. So this is what the new one will hold. Open Door, Plug, APLD, QuantumScape. You'll recognize all these names. Cipher Mining, RGTI, QUBT. So it's got quantum computing. It's got your aviation stocks, the flying cars and all that stuff. It's got your power. For those who don't understand, though, this launched in 2021, December 8th. Can anybody tell me what happened a month later? Well, a month later, the market crashed, okay? And so when you look at it, you can see from day one, it just went down. Everybody lost money, and everybody's buying. I mean, people were buying up here, right? That's how it stayed there. But lost 70%. When they closed it down, it was still down 54%. And they ended up closing it down November of 2023 because meme stocks were just not the craze anymore. That's when the Mag 7 were just holding the market up, just pushing everything up. The difference in now and then, and we'll talk about some of these stocks in about 5 to 10 minutes, is they're more theme stocks than meme stocks, okay? Theme, meme, yeah, it does rhyme. So we'll call them theme stocks, not meme stocks, because back then, you didn't need Open Door, you didn't need GameStop. GameStop, served no purpose, okay? AMC served no purpose as a movie theater. Now what do you have? Themes. Oh, we need energy for the data centers. Okay, well here's some stocks that have no licenses, no, they have a product they might, wink, wink, get developed, and so we can push them up because they're all low float stocks, right? Now, of course, on the way up, what are they doing? You're starting to see something I've never seen before, and I was showing the members. Like these companies, when they go up, they're going to do what? Stock offerings. And they'll do it, and the stock goes up 5%, which is crazy. Like, remember AMC would always, even GameStop, but AMC especially, would always do an offering when they got a big spike, and it would dump. And they would do a big spike, and they would offer again the stock, boom, right? And now it's like, wow, and even if they dump, it's like 3% after they've already ran up 100%. I mean, it's kind of crazy to see it, but it's themes and somewhat a meme, right? So space, I mean, these stocks, which I'll show you one today, signed a big contract with a big company. They're signing contracts with real companies, real legit companies, and they're producing revenue. Now, the ones that trip me out are the flying cars. I can't get behind that one. I mean, again, I'll trade them and do whatever, but that's crazy to me. I'll never get in one. I mean, we have enough car crashes on the roads. I can't imagine flying over the place. But again, that's another one. That's kind of a theme you don't need in a way, but those absolutely go into the moon. So this will give you exposure to the theme / meme stocks, okay? And some of them I think are meme stocks still, but some of them will be successful. And again, the ones that don't will go down 99%. That's just the way it's going to be. Okay, we've seen it before. Some of those SPACs that came, SBAC vehicles that came forward in 2020, 2021, they survived. They did well. Probably 80% of them went, see you later, right? And so, and now you're seeing what? The energy stocks that were the SPACs at $10 a share, they're the ones going crazy. The OKLOs, the NNEs, that kind of stuff. And so, just to bring that forward, let me know if you'll be getting in that one or not, but it will give you exposure. If you don't like the individual stocks, I'm not recommending this, by the way. At least it's a little less risky because, the stocks will drop, 40, 50%. That thing will probably drop 20% maybe if they all go down at the same time. Anyway, now looking at the Qs, we talked about this trend line. broke above it today, so it's doing the same thing the SPY did on its long-term chart right there, or long-term trend line, I guess you could say. And so we'll see if it's going to hold that or not. Again, the trend is up. It's in this wedge right here. So we'll see when it tests it if it goes back up right there. I'm definitely going to be watching this formation down here where there's this imbalance. If we do get any kind of weakness, because remember, that looks like a big drop. Nope, that is like a 0.5%, baby. So there is nothing to that. And if some of these stocks I'm going to talk about today start to move back up, then you can forget about it coming down there. Okay, that's just the way it is. But if they don't, then they don't. Now, we talked about AMD yesterday, or we're going to fill 50% of the gap, or we head into the next fill, which was going to be 234.91, and there it is. So we end up ramping up, got 234.91 to the penny. That's where we stall for the day, and it's kind of done a good job of just following these fib levels. I mean, it comes down, it bounces right there on the 1.618 fib, comes up, gets stuck at 224.70, which is the next fib level, and so now it rejected it. The 2.272 fib level. Next fib up from that is 240.24. And what do you want to see? See if it can hold the previous all-time high at 227.16, which that's going to be a big line, right? Because that goes pretty far back to the left over there. So let's watch it. And, of course, again, one of my favorite formations right here on the 4-hour. If it does come down, see if it respects this level. We got to see this today on the or NQ for the future, but QQQ as well. And it respected it, and then we went higher from there. So watch and see if it stays above that. Again, options were helping, especially early on this one. And so no shocker there. And they got about 68 million call flow. Again, this is not a Tesla, it's not an NVIDIA, but not bad. And speaking of NVIDIA, I mean 82 million in call premium right there. Not bad. I should say call premium, not call flow. But Tesla, the reason why it stays so quiet today and still just ended in that range we've been talking about for days and days and days, because it didn't have a whole lot of call premiums at the end of the day right there. It started to participate a little bit, but not much. Now, like I was telling members here, watch out for Amazon, because you're looking at a bullish MACD cross could happen tomorrow. RSI already above 50. And then, of course, it has that trend line, which also has the 50-day moving average right there, which is rejecting that right now. As you can see, we talked about the little square area. We talked about this trend line. So that's 3, now 4 rejections right there, as you can see. And so, again, it didn't test the 200 down below. It just kept hitting this area right here. So we need to get above this trend line where also the 50 moving average is. So I don't know if this is going to form a handle tomorrow right here to mitigate that imbalance right there. Come down, test a little support. And then maybe we start to move up. Ours is going to break straight through tomorrow. So I heading for the 50 fib. And then maybe the golden pocket, which is around 230.25 right there. And above there, I mean, you're looking at 232.52 will be, I think, pretty stiff resistance. I mean, you can see in the past where this has definitely been resistance. And so if you even get to that point, watch that to be resistance. If you get above there, definitely heading to new all-time highs for sure. This is obviously a laggard. Okay, so definitely needs the market to be with it, no doubt about that. And we'll go ahead and mark this out just in case we do get a handle coming down out of this rounding bottom right there. And as I showed you, there's the 50 as well, so that's why you're getting rejected. You can see to the left how it will support. And then when you look at the MACD, again, that's the 4-hour, we'll go to the daily here. You can see tomorrow we'll probably complete this right here. Maybe the next day we'll see if it gets it above the 50 on the RSI. So momentum can definitely be there. If you get that, I'd love to see that MACD push above the 0 line. That's when you'll get the even bigger move. But that's where we're at for Amazon. This one's definitely taking its time. That is for sure. But again, it doesn't move like Tesla or NVIDIA or like an AMD or even a Meta for that matter. So just watch for that one. Another one's going to be ARM, so semiconductor love to play catch up. You can see right here, it's at this resistance, and so it had a big move today, about 5%. So if it explodes above there, you can see it has very explosive moves above there. So maybe we get a small pullback in the morning, but check for this to go to 187.37. That's the previous all-time high. Again, all these others are already setting new all-time highs, so it's definitely been a laggard. It's kicking that door over and over and over. Remember Marvel, that was a catch-up play. We talked about that for, I guess it's been weeks now, it feels like. But again, once we broke this trend line, different setup. And then we got the 200. We said once we break 200, we're going here. Once we break 85, we're going here. Well, that's where we're going, okay? And so up above this on Marvel, there's not a lot of resistance. And you see it's only been above this level, and you see what happened when it got above the level. It exploded up, and then it crashed and burned on the way down. So, and we're coming into that volume pocket. Every time it hits a volume pocket, it spikes up quickly. And so, again, if you got into calls, I think I was in 85 calls. Those are over 100% for sure. So congratulations on those. So we'll see if this is going to keep pushing. So just watch arm to push above. What would be even better is to get a push above and then retest that level and then go. That would be nice. But, you know, we'll see. I mean, this is what seems to be happening right now. As you see, Taiwan Semiconductor and all these others, I mean, just going to the freaking moon and everything. Now, speaking of the high beta stuff, ASTS, we talked about for weeks as well, it feels like. Once we got to break above this trend line, big explosive move, bull flag again, and just mooned right here. Today it was up, I think, like 15% at one point in time. And the reason why, like I told members here in all the news, you can see they signed a deal with Verizon. Right, they actually have a product already. It's not fake or anything. They have revenue right now, and so you can see right here, AST Space Mobile, the company building the first and only space-based cellular broadcom network, accessible directly by everyone's smartphones, designed for both commercial and government applications, is up another 12% in pre-market after it announced the signaling of a definitive commercial agreement with Verizon to provide direct-to-cellular AST Space Mobile service when needed for Verizon customers starting in 2026. Okay. And this one, I mean, you know, I would say these things are overextended, but they've been overextended and they seem to just keep going. At least this one got kind of a partial pullback on the way up. So far as respecting these fibs, so we're just going to keep them on there. There's one of these I'll show you. I mean, it's literally just blown past all the fibs I had. So I have to figure out what to do with that one. And with these, you know, it seems like the more overbought they are, the better, to be honest with you, because these are momentum plays. As soon as everybody's watching the same chart, really, and as soon as they break, people just pile into these things. See it right there? Once it got an overbought is when it went into just freaking overdrive. All right, so this thing is definitely going to overdrive. So we'll see when it pulls back to respect the fibs. This one right here is just blown past all my fibs. Man, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with this thing, but that's a rare problem to have. And so you can see this, and once it started taking off, it just, you know, it ain't vertical, but boy, it don't have a whole lot of, I can't say it don't have a whole lot of pullbacks. These pullbacks don't look like much, but they're like 15 to 20%. It just happens within like 3 days. But so far that trend line, it just keeps following its support, broke below it, then just grinded up on it and broke back above it now. So this is another one. That was one of those, I believe, crypto miners, which turned into a lot of other things. I think we talked about this yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. You see OKLO. I was telling members about this, when it breaks this trend line, start heading back up, see if it gets a double top, right? Because this is at like the 3.272 fib at this point in time. We'll see. I mean, none of the double tops have worked out on this thing. This one actually usually has given pullbacks quite a bit and quite a discount. This time it didn't give a discount. When it pulled back, it didn't even get to the 0.5 fib. Every other time, every other pullback has gotten to that or the golden pocket, okay, at least. And this one did not do that. So let's see if maybe you get one of those. This is that energy stock. Again, still don't have the right certification or license, whatever it is. No revenue to 2027. Owners are becoming super wealthy at this point in time. Congratulations to them. A lot of these company CEOs are doing that way. And these are the ones that were the SPAC, the SPACs at $10. They waited years for this. And so now they are reaping the benefits. So good for them. Tim, this one right here actually is much easier to chart. Tempest AI. Because obviously big moves up, new all-time high. But this one definitely gives you discounts. And if you see that shaded box I showed you, it goes all the way to the left right there. So when it came back down, it hit the trend line, hit horizontal support, and into a discount. So that was actually a good one there. So this one's actually a much easier to chart. And you usually do get the pullbacks on this one. But again, I don't think that one's going to be in that meme stock portfolio at all. But, again, it has the word AI in it. It's all good. We'll see if this trend line, if it comes up here and touch it, like Rocket Lab, for example. You look at Rocket Lab, it's another one. Touch that trend line. And once again, we put in quite a while back, actually. So that's 4 or 5 rejections right there. So it seems to be a pretty good, point of where it tends to, sell down. Again, the trend is up. This is another one that gives a lot of discounts. But it's a space theme, right? So ASTS is space. Rocket Labs is space. They do have revenue, all that fun stuff. I don't know what's going up in space right now. I know they got cities up there already built with all the billionaires starting space companies, but I hope it don't leave us behind. Now, we finally have earnings for tomorrow that matter. We have Delta, Tilray, PepsiCo, definitely watch Pepsi, and then Levi in the afternoon. And then we do have some data. I don't know matter of fact, I know we're not going to get unemployment claims. The government's still shut down, so we will not get that again. We'll get factory orders and then a 30-year bond auction. So still, all that data you see on Friday that says tentative, if we don't open up, we ain't getting it. And the vote was no today. So we'll see what they end up doing. I don't think anybody even cares if they open back up ever again. I hate to say it, but I'm just joking when I say that. I know everybody cares, but seriously. Anyway, please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. I think I'll put your questions in the comments for Saturday's video. You can put in stocks you want me to cover, whatever. market questions, things of that nature, and I'll do it. Think about signing up for the membership, less than McDonald's combo at $7.99. That's everything you get with it. Just hit the first link down at the bottom of the description, and I will see you guys tomorrow.